excused. We have a quorum. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda, pulling action item K6.
Can we get a second for
I'll
that?
second it.
And that K6 is the preliminary budget approval. He's having some software issues, so we'll have it at the next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizens and delegation, is there anybody here that wants to speak to anything that's not on the agenda? Oh, executive session. Oh, let's go back. We do have an announcement of the executive session. In accordance with WS 19.851C, an executive session will be held at the end of the meeting for the consideration of employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Now, citizens delegation. Is there anybody here that wants to speak to anything that's not on the agenda? Not on the agenda. Okay, we will go on to our first student presentation, and I believe that is DI, and Jamie Lassay is going to introduce. Right?
Yeah, she's not here.
Okay. What's she done?
Yeah. So this is a DI team from Parkview Middle School. They've been together for several years, and they're going to explain a little bit what DI is and what they've done so far this year.
Okay, hello, I'm Peter Steinhoff.
Mason Vanoski.
Miles to say?
Lily Allen.
Yeah, we're kind of here to talk about our challenge. So DI has 6 different challenges. They all involve kind of sort of performance and STEM principles. So our challenge this year was Top Secret, which was all about creating and presenting a story about a secret mission this year. So we had to research and apply methods from cryptography and steganography to reveal our secret messages. We had to design and create a gadget that appears to be an everyday item. We had to create and integrate a disguised character into the story, and create and present 2 team choice elements, this being one. This is a stained glass window. Oh no, we also had to create several different encrypted messages into our performance. And yeah.
Okay, for our stage, we had 2 industrial wood pallets that we used as our stage that folded up, and when it was up, it created a screen that we used silhouettes on with the light showing through it. At regionals, we took first, and then we also got the Da Vinci Award, which is a very high honor for us. Yeah.
Okay, so part of our skit, we have to have a disguised character, and this year I'm the character that's in disguise. And so in our skit, I go from a deconstruction worker to a 1950s teenager, and how I'm in disguise is I'm wearing a duct tape poodle skirt, and then I have a really oversized jeans and flannel shirt, and I have that over, so it's really big and poofy. And we get points for the dramatic reveal of the disguised character, and so I just rip off the flannel and the jeans, and then I pull down my skirt, and so that's how the reveal works. And then we use our gadget to reveal a secret message. Our gadget this year is a toolbox, and we have a piece of sheet music that goes through the toolbox, and inside the toolbox is it
Mickering.
Mickering, and inside the sheet music we have 2 pieces of paper and magnets, and then we put those pieces of paper together, and so we put the sheet music inside the toolbox, and then the Mickering gets on the magnets, and then yeah, there's a secret message or code.
For costumes, we had to research 2 eras where the story takes place, which is the 1920s and the 1950s. Our opening scene has two boys dressed from the 1920s, which includes niggers, suspenders, and newsboys' hats. And the rest of our story is in the 1950s, where it has teenagers, which is made up of poodle skirts made out of duct tape and coffee filters.
Okay, so last year was our first trip to Globals, and it was a ton of fun. It was really good experiments. Opening and closing ceremonies, they were really exciting to see, like, all the parades of the people. It's kind of like, what? Oh. It's kind of like Olympics because they have, like, I think I remember a team from each country, and they kind of walk around. The Science Expo had a bunch of fun activities. I remember seeing a, like, kiddie pool full of cornstarch and water, where you'd like run on it and stuff. They had a scavenger hunt, geocaching, and you could earn a pin. The duct tape ball, where you made a duct tape costume. The international block party, and pin trading, which was one of the most fun parts.
This is our 6th year as a team, and the last 5 years we competed in the Fine Arts Challenge, so this is our first year in the Scientific Challenge. And it was really exciting to win both first place in Instant Challenge essay and first place overall out of 18 teams. And last year at Globals, it was our first year, like Miles said, and we didn't really know what to expect because everything was new. And this year at Globals, we have a goal for our team, which is to make it into the top 10 teams. And we're hoping to spend more time at the Science Expo and pin trading because those are 2 things that we enjoyed last year.
Great. Anybody have any questions?
So what was the hottest pin last year that everyone wanted?
Yeah, there was this one pin where it was like an eye in the middle, and it had like 2 dragon wings and like a key, and people were trading so many pins for those. I had to give up these like 4 mechanical cow pins for one.
It's hard to imagine, but that is a big deal at Globals, isn't it?
It was a little bit like crack, like we were doing it in the street corners, we were doing it in the hallway, on the side, and it was, yeah, they were out until way later than they should have been, but just one more pin, can we just do one more, I just got one more trade, it was fun, it was good. It was neat to meet all different people.
Kara, can you talk a little bit about the Da Vinci Award that they won?
Yeah, the Da Vinci Award is, it's not always given out. It's given out to a team that exemplifies creativity and a really new way of looking at how to solve a challenge. We received the Da Vinci Award for the mechanical part of our time travel when we go from the 1920s to the 1950s. As Mason described, we had pallets, and what they did is they put hinges in between them and popped them up, and then a screen came on. And then we had someone hiding behind putting up silhouettes. So when we talked about the 1920s and jazz music, we had jazz music playing, Peter explaining what was going on in the 1920s, and then silhouettes of a flapper dancer and someone playing the trumpet. And then in the 1930s, we talked about the Great Depression, and then in the 1940s, about big band music. So part of our solution to our problem is this sheet music. So what we really try to do is marry the arts, which is what we have done for the past 5 years and are very comfortable with the science. So we put the music and then the micro ink and the magnetic part of it together. The other part that they didn't really describe too much is when we're on stage, we also have to instacrypt and decrypt a message. So we don't know what it's going to be. They hand, and in this case it's Mason, and he encrypts it, and then Peter has to decrypt it. We had to come up with our own way to encrypt and decrypt, being creative. So Peter, do you want to explain?
Oh, okay, put me on the spot. So our way to encrypt and decrypt is we use the certain pattern using circles and the radius of a circle and the circumference specifically and the ratios between them. There's a certain ratio between them called tau. It is a irregular and, what's the word? I don't know. Very complex number. And the thing about it is if you plot a point every tau distance on a circle, those points will never land one on the same spot ever again. So we use this, and we assigned up each point a letter of the alphabet, and we use this to kind of encrypt a certain way. So we made our own specific alphabet, and we use that to encrypt and decrypt our message.
What was your message?
I think at regionals it was maple syrup, and at state it was
Dry
dry umbrella.
Yep, so it's a 2-word phrase. We don't have any inkling of what it's going to be. So they just kind of throw it out there and hopefully we get it.
They pick it when they register.
Yep, they pick it right on stage, yep.
Yeah.
How many Da Vinci awards are given out amongst how many teams or?
This year there was one at regionals.
One at regionals?
Out of all the teams, not just our category, but of the entire.
How many teams are there roughly?
Boy, I don't know. Just in middle school scientific, I think there was 15. So times that by 3 levels, times it by 6 problems, and then a little more because fine arts usually has quite a bit more. Yeah.
So 400 or 500 teams?
Regional probably about
Yeah. For regionals.
6 times 4,500.
So it was a very high honor. I mean, we kind of felt like since this was our first year doing scientific, we didn't even know if we were going to make it to state. So then when we got that, we're like, oh boy, okay, so we got a little more work to do. So then at state, we felt like we struggled a little bit in the instant challenge, which is another portion, and that's where you get a problem and you have to solve it immediately. Coaches can't help, it's just they're on their own. And it's out of 100 points. So we felt like we struggled a little bit, but you know, we were like, it's okay, it's our first time in the scientific challenge, it's okay, we're good, it's fine. So they announced 3rd place and it wasn't us, and I'm like, okay guys, it's okay, we could, you know, maybe 2nd, it's okay. 2nd place it was announced and it wasn't us, and you could see all their little faces drop. And then when they said 1st place, they said 1st place in instant challenge, so then we're like, ooh, yeah, we're out of it. There's no, Jan and I looked at each other like, we're not going to win this year. But fortunately, everybody struggled with the instant challenge. So even though we only scored 31 out of 100 points, we were still the top scorer. So we ended up going. So it was a difficult challenge this year, but that's what makes it fun.
Well, congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck at Lowell, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Now we're off to go practice.
Any using Skills USA? Oh, great.
Good evening. I've been here for other things in the past, but that was as a library media specialist at Valley View. So I am really excited. In my first year as a tech ed instructor at Parkview Middle School to be able to be back again to share some really great things that the kids in the Ashwaubenon School District are doing. This is my first year working as the skills advisor for Parkview. Tom Barnhart, who is a high school teacher, is not able to be here tonight, but he and I brought 31 high school and middle school kids down to the annual State Skills USA competition, which is held down in Madison at the Alliant Energy Center. And I really have no idea how many kids total. When we were in kind of a big...
A lot.
Yeah.
Like our challenge?
Yeah, I would guess they could have... Wait.
There was 40 teams in ours.
I'm trying to remember. I think there were 2,500 kids in the state that are registered. Not that many were down at state, but it was a full... Like the arena that we were in for the awards and the opening and the closing, it was packed. Like one time we got there a little bit late and it was really hard to find seats. But what I'm going to do is let the girls introduce themselves and let them introduce. There were 2 different competitions that we took part in. These 3 ladies on the end took part in one, and Abby had a teammate who's actually probably out running in the rain right now. She's finishing up at the Parkview track meet tonight. But Taylor Weslowski is not able to be with us tonight, but she and Abby competed in another category. So, ladies, can I let you take it away?
Okay. Well, like Mr. Hansen said, we went down there with the high schoolers. We took a coach bus down to Madison, and then we competed at the Alliant Energy Center. Yeah, there were a lot of different challenges in there. And then, skipping a while, but on the way home, we toured Mercury Marine. So was interesting. Yeah, I guess that's my part.
So we competed in the team engineering challenge, and we were given 2 ping pong balls, 2 bouncy balls, 5 marbles, and 1 like metal ball. And our challenge was they were dropped from a certain height, and we had to sort them in some sort of contraption. And we had a limited amount of time, and we had $60, and then we had to create orders, and from these orders we had to create our creation. And also we had to buy supplies to present to judges, and the interview was also part of our competition.
We chose bubble wrap, so so you can see all the balls in there. And we created a funnel, so when they drop, they would all go in the prototype. And then the 2 ping pong balls would go on this level, 2 bouncy balls, 5 marbles, and then 1 metal ball. And then we sorted it because originally there was something on here that would tip it forward, but it broke a little bit. But it tipped forward, and then we have slots in here. And according to size, the balls would be sorted from top to bottom because they would be able to go through to the next level. And we have little doors to get them out.
We competed with about 25 other teams in the middle school division, and after our preliminary round, we were called back with 5 other teams for callbacks. So then we went in front of a panel of 3 judges, and we had to present our piece again and answer any questions that they had.
That was pretty much our challenge.
So what awards did you win?
We placed first for our middle school division, and this is the award we got, and then we got these medals.
For prize we got Arduino kits.
I just want to know, did it really cost $60 to?
No, it was like fake money. Yeah. They gave us like little tokens.
I think you got ripped off.
Yeah.
But they learn about things like how much change orders cost when you're doing things like putting together a project and you change things and have to go back and order more materials. And I don't have a picture with me tonight, but if you're having any issues visualizing, they had the way it was set up, they had a large tube that they put all the balls into, and when they said ready, they would pull out a piece that held them all, and they would fall. And to me, it was really interesting because, as the non-pressured outside observer who gets to watch all these kids working all day, theirs, I think, was fundamentally different than most of the rest of what the kids developed. A lot of people had kind of a mousetrap type thing with ramps and whatnot in it. So I think theirs was, it just looked different, and obviously it worked really well during the competition. So that is the first set of competitors that we brought down there. Did very well. Abby, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Abby. I competed with Taylor in Urban Search and Rescue, which is what we had to do is they have this course set up, which is about from like here all the way down to where it cuts into an angle. And we had a ton of PVC pipes, and we had a mailbox that we had to open, and we had 2 ordinances which were different sizes, and we had to pick them up with our arm. And what we had to do is we had to go over a PVC pipe, which was maybe about 1.5 inches off the ground, and we had to go into the mailbox and get it. We had to bring it back outside all of the walls. We had to put it in a box. We had to go back, and then we had to get another one, which was in a corner. So.
But Abby, you have to explain why the camera was important to that entire challenge.
Oh, yeah. So the camera that we had, let me tell you, we had an interesting time. First time we went, it was our first run, and our camera it didn't work. So we had to come back and we had to fix it. So what we have to do is we have to sit at a table where we can't see anything that's on the course. So they hide the ordinances from us, and we have a camera where you can see 2 feet ahead, maybe, and maybe peripheral vision, maybe. It depends on how you angle your camera. So we had to find that. So this this is how we had to move our robot. We had to turn it, we had to put it down, we had to pick up our ordnance, close it, we had to put it back up, turn it around, and then we had to go bring it back to the bucket, drop it very lightly, and then open it. And we also had 2 other components of ours. The first day we had to get there at 8 a.m. and we had to take a written test, which was about the laws of robotics, which are the 3 laws about how a robot cannot hurt others, it has to follow his master, and it has to protect himself with not breaking rule 1 and 2. And we had to take a test about gear ratios and vocabulary and just a ton of other stuff about robotics and like wiring. And we had to have an interview, and we explained how we had like our electrical setup with all of our wires and our mechanical setup, because we chose a chain drive instead of just straight out of our motor drive, which was very interesting. And one thing that I learned about skills is time management, which really helps, because we started a little bit late on our project, but so we had to work very hard to get it done on time, because we had a 18 by 18 by 18 criteria and constraint, so we had to fit our robot into a little box. So, and we ended up taking 2nd place.
Did you guys make that?
Yes, from
Design it?
scratch.
Or was it a design? Was there a design for it, or did you design it?
No, we designed this from scratch.
And they brought an engineering notebook with them that had all the notes. I mean, they had done a really nice job of taking photos. They made a digital document that they could print out that detailed all the days they worked on it, what they did, kind of their version 1, version 2, version 3, and that was one of the things that the judges wanted to hear from them. Like, not just what's your finished product, what was your process and iterations along the way.
Yeah, very nice.
Great job presenting.
Yeah.
It looks like it's almost 18 inches height now.
Yes. We fixed it very close to our deadline to get it done. It was a little hectic down there, I'm not gonna lie. Good thing we had our high school team down there also. So there's 42 teams in middle school and high school combined, so it was a very big competition.
And if you look at what they're wearing, I asked them, and they say they came from a track, but when they go to skills, one of the things that they emphasize is workplace readiness. So they each had copies of a resume that they had each crafted, that they had to bring copies of a resume to be eligible for the competitions. They were given to the judges at the beginning. They are required to wear official skills attire, which for middle school was just black pants and shoes and a white top. The high school kids have a little more strict kind of requirements, but their goal is to let these kids know that someday you're going to be in a workplace and your employer is going to have expectations. And do you want to share anything else as far as takeaways or thoughts after taking part in the competition?
I think I definitely learned how to work under stress and some problem solving on my feet.
Yeah, you also definitely have to work a lot with your team. You can't be arguing, you just have to learn how to get along with others, because otherwise it's just not going to work.
I think our part with our competition is because we did robotics, is that most of our new world is coming to technology and how we're doing it, because most things in the world are coming to robots or something on your phone or your laptop. So by making this, we realize how this is impacting the whole world. How this is going to be basically the future of the world.
And I just want to give a little shout out, thank you parents for letting us take your kids. Thank you Mr. Layden, who helped in many, many ways behind the scenes. He didn't get to go into the competition, but as a first-time advisor, he was an invaluable help to me and to our team. Also, thank you to Mr. Barnhart for helping to make it easy for us to go down there with the high school kids, and everything was really well arranged. It's a very smooth process. It was a really good time. So we're glad to have that opportunity.
Can I just say one thing to the girls? Technology and females in the technology field is a tremendous opportunity, so I hope you stay with it, because you have a limitless future ahead of you if you stick with it. So,
Thank you.
Good job. 8.
Yeah, she was 18.
Exactly.
You already got Paul's daughter. She's great.
A fire.
We hired 2 high school friends that put on runways last year.
Okay, we'll be looking for a motion on the consent agenda, which consists of minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting held Monday, April 10th, minutes of the exec session held Monday, April 10th, scheduled checks written 4/4 through 5/2, staffing, resignation of Abby Heinrichs from her full-time 7th grade instructor position at the middle school, hire of Renee Vandenberg to a part-time 0.85% literacy coach position at Pioneer and Cormier. Hire Allison Sudol as a half-time 0.54K position at Cormier. The hire of Sarah Noonan as a full-time grade 1 instructor at Pioneer. The hire of Kimberly
Cavage.
Thank you.
That's a tough one.
I was trying to practice that all day. To the full-time 1.0 FTE grade 5 position at Valley View. The new hire of Rebecca Conkle Kintop to the public service program coordinator position, and this will be effective August 1st. The new hire of Connor Greaves to a full-time grade 5 instructor at Valley View. The new hire of Cassandra Therrian as a full-time grade 1 instructor at Pioneer. And the hire of Emily Thomas as a full-time grade 1 instructor at Valley View. For a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Keith, superintendent's report.
Okay, Dr. Haynes gave me a couple things he wanted me to talk about. First of all, unfortunately, he's not here, but I want to give Andy Bake recognition. He was recognized by WCAS, which is the Student Services State Organization, and I'll read a little bit about what it says, Andy's recognition. Each year, WCAS likes to recognize those who make outstanding contributions to special education and pupil services. Andy Bake is being recognized for his ability to positively make a difference for students with disabilities in our district. So Andy received special recognition for that, and he should be congratulated. In addition, we had a Parkview student that was recognized. Vincent Perrin is also being recognized. He's an 8th grade student who has changed the culture at Parkview. He's a motivational leader for staff members and students alike. So Vincent's a very nice young man, and it's great to see him get recognized for what he's doing as well. So there's some people in the district doing some great work. Second thing I have, I'm going to hand off to Jenny, but we have a fundraising activity at Valley View that's new, and we want to make the board aware of some great work that some people have done. So Jenny?
So at Valley View, they tried a new fundraiser this year. We partnered with an organization called Raise Craze, which helped us with kind of the logistical part. It was a fundraiser where it was all primarily done online, and students solicited donations. They created a webpage, and basically what they did is if someone were to donate to them, whether it was $5 or $50, they did an act of kindness to thank them. And that's all it was. There was no selling pizza or wrapping paper or anything like that. And so the great thing about this organization is that they guarantee you a 90% profit, which for fundraising is tremendous. Generally, you're looking at a cap of like 50% profit for these things. So we tried it, and it went well. We actually made a profit of over $10,400 just for kids doing nice stuff.
Yeah.
So it was super, super fun to work with and to do. The kids, I think, really enjoyed it. And we, at Valley View, the students completed 1,577 acts of kindness over a 3-week period. So.
Kurt, you have any comments on it?
Well, first of all, we have to give kudos to the person who would never give kudos to herself, and that's Jenny Biskichel, who really spearheaded the fundraiser. To us, between Jenny and I and all the kids and staff at Valley View, it really was more about the acts of kindness, which really parallels our PBIS program in our Jaguar way. And so we wanted our kids to get out in the community. Part of to get on the Hero Club at Valley View is you have to do things and be a good citizen in the community as well. So the acts of kindness was really the driving force for us. And we received a lot of just donations just from people as they heard about it, said it's one of the best fundraisers they've ever heard about, and just having kids do an act of kindness rather than just selling pizzas or those types of things. So great job, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
One of the neatest things I thought, and I actually started crying, and I told Kurt if my husband had been home, he would have been like, what is wrong with you, woman? But I was so proud of this little girl. She's a first grader, I believe second grader. Delaney?
Delaney's
Second grader, and her mom sent me pictures because I asked parents, tell me what your kids are doing. Like, what is this doing to you at home? How's this going? And we got some really amazing stories, but Delaney had an uncle who was in the service, and so Wounded Warrior was a cause close to her heart. So she set up a lemonade and cookie stand at Pick and Save, but it was all free. But she said she was collecting donations for Wounded Warriors, and they collected almost $300 that they donated to Wounded Warriors. And she did it all on her own. Her mom said this was her idea. She made the sign. She did it all. She spent 3 hours sitting at Pick and Save and doing it. And that's, I mean, if the world could be a little kinder, imagine what could happen. So I was super proud of our kids. Really, really honored to be part of this process. So it was great.
Great job.
Thanks. That's all I've got. Okay, let's move on then to discussion items. First one would be video streaming service. Brad.
Guess you can turn this thing off here. Just a quick update and on our research and our selection of the video streaming service. Back in, I think, the February meeting, I presented to you that we were looking at their current services, which is WIA-TV/NFHS, which is National Federation of High Schools. And we also looked at Brown County's new service called NUI, which the village is currently using. So we did some research with that, had a bunch of meetings with them. I gave you a board update, or put an article on a board update in March about how NUI was having a few issues, just basically because they were new, and made us a little bit uncomfortable. Plus, there was an expense. We would have had to have a separate line from here, the district office to the high school, and it ended up being kind of costly. So we did more research with the WIA-TV NFHS solution, which has an additional option that we're going to go with called a Pixelot camera. So we decided on doing that. The service, web streaming service, is $3,000 a year. Comes out of my budget, and that'll stay as is. The camera is a $4,750 purchase that Nick is going to do out of his activities and athletics budget. But the camera is really cool. The camera is a unit probably about this big and 4 cameras in it. So what it does is it'll take a panoramic. It'll be installed in the field house. So it'll take a panoramic of the field house, and because of that panoramic and the software that they have running it all, it'll do a basketball game and it'll follow the ball, or a volleyball game and it'll follow the ball. So it's kind of an automated production thing. And the beauty of the automated production stuff is that, and we've really struggled the last several years, or a few years, getting kids and involved in doing our video production stuff. So this kind of clears that hurdle because it really can be unmanned. Nick Sanger can kind of flip a switch, as they say, and turn on an event that'll be available on the web portal of the WA channel, also on Apple TV, and also through your mobile device. So one thing that's really cool, I should have showed you a demo of it, but with the Pixelot system is because it does that panoramic thing, if you're watching with a mobile device like an iPad or an iPhone, you can actually move your iPad or iPhone and it'll move you within that big panoramic frame. So you, even if we have a still of, let's say, the graduation or something that's not a lot of action, you can sit there and you can move within that frame to watch the event. So it's pretty cool. We're excited about it. In fact, we should be getting it next week, and our goal is we'd like to do the high school graduation with it as kind of our test event, to try it out with that. So that's our goal, is to get up and running by then. And then also talk to the village, and one of the things that the advantage of the Brown County system was both the villages and our stuff could be in one location, kind of on one site, one web portal. But in talking with the village, I'd asked them, can we go and upload our school board meetings to your channel, to your web portal site? And they don't have an issue with that, and as long as it doesn't cost them any resources to do it. So we're going to do that because basically since January of this year, we've also been streaming your stuff to YouTube on our YouTube channel for the district. And then the schools each have a little playlist off of that too. So that's the update on the video streaming. Any questions? All right.
No, very good.
Be high tech.
Yeah, it's really cool. Thanks.
All right, next would be Betsy with an update on the new kitchen at the high school.
Hi. Well, the first topic is meal price increase. And I think you've seen me here every year telling you the same thing, that the Hungry Healthy Kids Act of 2010 mandates that we use a price lunch calculator to figure out pricing. And the gist of it all is that our current prices should match what the feds are reimbursing us for our paid meals or for our free meals. So currently they're paying us $2.86 for every free meal. We don't charge $2.86 for any meal. So that mandates us to put numbers into their formula and tell us how much we need to increase to match what the federal government is paying us back for free meals. Well, this year it told us we needed to increase our prices by 18 cents. And that was just a little too steep, and every time we increase prices, I see a dip in our participation, and it takes a while to get that back up, and I throw healthy things and new innovative products that justify the price increase. And so this time they do allow us a 10-cent bracket. Instead of the 18 cents, we can go 10 cents per year as a max. Or we could go 18 or 20. We chose to stay with the 10. So we're going to have to increase our meal prices across the board, 10 cents for elementary and Parkview in the high school. So currently it's $1.55. It'll be raised to $1.65. And at the Parkview in high school, it goes from $2.80 to $2.90. So if this stays in place, I can only guesstimate that we'll be here next year talking about the same thing, unfortunately. So.
Unless the act is abolished.
Yeah, it changes with the wind.
I was going to ask you, what are you hearing or what are you sensing is going to happen with changes to the lunch programs?
I see changes on the horizon, definitely.
Some things happening already?
Yes. We had 2 items. Sonny Perdue is the new U.S. Department of Agriculture and head, and he already put a pause button on our sodium click down. So we're going to stay at our current level with sodium, which is quite restrictive. And that's actually a good thing because we're putting spice bars and all of that to make sure that the food is palatable for our students. And with the lower sodium was going to be difficult. So that was very good that we stopped at the low sodium level. The other thing was he moved the whole grain level, which was 100% of all of our products being whole grain this year. He moved it back to 50%, which is also a good thing because I'm not going backwards with the menu. We are going to stay healthy. We are going to keep moving forward. The forward motion that I'd like to see is less chemicals in our food and more whole foods. So the increase will support that motive. And with the whole grains, I see that Spaghetti Day, for an example, was one of our most popular days. And then when we had to implement 100% whole grain on our pasta, that went dramatically down. Same with our flour tortillas. They're hard to fold and bend and manipulate because they're drier, and so the students just aren't taking the soft shell taco. So there's just a couple items I might resort back to the white, but overall, we'll stay whole grain.
So do you feel like some of those changes will help you have less waste and maybe higher participation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I see, the fear that I have is that, with the regulations changing, the funding might change. But, why borrow problems from tomorrow when you have enough today? So we are just going to go along with
That's a
each
good
move
way of
as it
thinking about
comes.
it.
And right now it's those two. And I do think we'll have more.
Okay.
But hopefully it'll be a ramping approach and not all at once, because it will be confusing and for industry and for us as well, so.
So I just gotta, commend you, because we've come a long way in the last
Yeah.
15 years on lunches, and you've held in line, and we are not borrowing money for our meal program to sustain it. It's sustaining itself, and you're doing a great job. with
Thank
that.
you. It's
And I
nice.
also think Betsy deserves credit. She doesn't get credit enough for, we were starting on this path long before the Healthy
Exactly.
Yes, we
Free Kids
were.
Act started. And we were going towards the whole food side of it, and the act has kind of forced us to detour a little off of that to stick with their regulations. But the value of having somebody with the nutrition background that Betsy has is unbelievable at this point, because it's gotten so complicated. I don't know how a district can survive at this point without somebody with her nutritional background, in addition to all the other skills she brings. But it's really a challenge, and every time you make a regulation, it doesn't get easier. And then the bigger challenge isn't just meeting the regulation, you're trying to do it in a way that kids will still eat it and try it and find new ways to do it. So she's very creative in finding ways to try to keep that participation up. Other districts I talk to are struggling greatly with the participation side. Our participation numbers are still outstanding, and as Jay mentioned, we're still running at above break even, and that's why with the kitchen remodel that we're gonna talk about next, we're able to take all of that out of our food service fund, where other districts would be paying for that out of their educational fund. So it would be a choice between, do you do a kitchen or do you have a teacher? We're able to do that all out of the fund because Betsy does such a good job managing it and managing the nutritional side, so the food is as good as possible. I realize it's probably not quite where she and I both wanted because of those regulations and how chemical those regulations get. We'd rather have whole foods, but she does an outstanding job and just deserves to be recognized for how hard it has been to keep the food as good as it's been over the last 5 years, 6 years since that act has been in place.
Thank you.
But I have to ask one more thing.
Sure.
Are you still part of the governor's committee?
I am on the Governor's Advisory Board for Physical Fitness and Health.
Can you give us, I know we're getting off topic, can you
Sure.
give us just a real brief summary of what kind of work goes on with that committee?
We've been in a pause since he was running for the president. We've kind of been in a standstill position as a committee. I'm hoping that regenerates some energy, but currently we're working on walking paths throughout the state.
Okay.
So I think reverting railroad tracks into walking and biking paths. So that's what it's mostly through email and communication through teleconferences.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Good for you. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. So the next topic is, oh, I'm sorry.
On meal prices?
I move to increase the meal prices as listed here.
That'd be 10 cents across.
10 cents across the board, I guess.
I'll second that.
Just as a footnote on that, I think you guys will want to have this known in the public, that's the minimum amount you can do. And local control is really out of that, we don't have a choice, so.
I was going to say, that would be the headline, Paul Tronson recommends raising meals for kids.
Yeah, for kids, that'll go over well.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Betsy.
Mm-hmm. So the next topic is the getting approval for the company that will work with Brander, who is the architect and engineering firm for the new high school kitchen. So we put out 3 proposals and received 2 back, and we'll go with the lesser of them. Stewart Design is out of Madison, and I called the references on his profile, and Howard Swamico, he worked with Howard Swamico, he's worked with several local school districts here, and has done a very good job. So
I have to ask, who is the principal that you were working with? Was it Paul Mackesy by any chance?
Paul Mackesy was the one company that did not reply back. So.
Oh, really? So he's not with Stewart anymore?
He is not. He's on his own.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, as a reference, I used Stewart Design for 2 different kitchens in the Green Bay area.
Oh.
So, and Paul was the one that I worked
Oh.
with, so he must have gone out on his own then.
Yeah, Paul was actually the one that helped us with the Valley View and Pioneer renovations a few years back.
Okay.
So I thought it was respectful to extend one his way, and he started his own company, but failed to comply with the deadline.
Okay.
So Stewart actually is the one that I would recommend that we go with.
And I just want to make sure you're aware, one of the reasons we have a consultant here is we're changing the layout of the kitchen significantly. It's not going to be the traditional institutional style, as I call it, where you get a tray and you just walk down the line and they put your food in. It's going to be a scramble format. It's going to look different, and it'll be a much better environment for the students and a positive environment. And that's one of the reasons why we need a consultant, because we're changing the way we do things. And Betsy's got a lot of experience and talked with a lot of people. They help design and help with selecting equipment, making sure we've got electrical in the right place and water in the right place. All those things, so we can have the flexibility you need to run the scramble properly. So that's really, Brander's doing the design architecture side, and then this consultant will help with the layout and the planning side.
The nice thing about this is we have a blank slate.
Yes.
So everything is, all the locker rooms are all out, everything is completely out. So you're starting from scratch. It's
Very
like
exciting.
Building a new house.
And it's just like Keith said, the Schneider National kitchen was designed by Stewart Design, and it's exactly what you said. There's things that you just don't think about that these people, they know the right way to do it. They've done it hundreds of times over, so it's good.
Are we gonna see the plans?
Once they're ready.
Once they
So I just want to define scramble, because Keith referred to that, and I think most everyone has participated in purchased food through a scramble system, but it's when you go into the door and then everyone goes their own way to their own station, somewhat like an museum or
A food court.
food court, yeah. But then you recenter back to the point of service, POS stations, and check out that way. So my goal is to have food made right there. So actually not to have one centralized kitchen like we have currently at the high school. My goal is to have like 3 little small ones making specialty items. So we'll actually have, and that's why the consultant company is very important, because they know the updated equipment that makes the sandwich and pizza bar and then the potato bar and whatever we want there. So it's going to be very, very fun, very exciting.
So the cooler and the freezer that's existing there now, we'll keep that, right?
We're going to try, but it's kind of concrete right into the floor.
So it'd have to be moved.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
We'll see.
if we can move it, and that's one of the things the consultant will help us do, evaluate our current equipment, see what works in this new format, and see where we are.
We'll
Does
try.
Excuse me,
Mhm.
Betsy, does it change staffing?
It may.
Better, worse, more, less people?
We may have to increase because of everyone not being in one location. We'll still keep the 3 cashiers, but we'll look at staffing as we get closer. The scramble system identifies one person with each entree, more or less. St. Norbert's is a good scramble system if you've ever been there, and I hope to go with that. And I can foresee possibly adding one more, but we'll have to work really smart.
And some of that will be based on volume. We're
Right.
hoping this increases quality and student
That's what I was wondering.
interest.
Yeah.
So then as meal volume goes up, then obviously staffing goes up as well.
Well, yeah.
Keith, help me out. What was the target date to have this all in place?
The work on this would be happening over the next school year, so our hope is to have it done next summer and then be able to have everything ready to go for the following school year. So we're a year off from a grand opening, a school year off to have that open. So we'll have 1 year of planning, design, and then construction, and then for the 19-20 school year?
18-19.
18-19 school year, have the kitchen open.
So everything will be new in the new kitchen, correct?
not our people.
We'll
We'll see.
Evaluate the current equipment we have. Some of it may be able to move, some of it's not very old, that we've replaced some things.
Yeah.
So there may be several things we're able to move. But for
And-
example, dishwasher will be new. Our dishwasher
Oh, yes.
is out of date, horrible, and it's not efficient energy-wise either. So
The
Right.
kids to wash dishes.
Yeah, a lot of the equipment was there the last time we remodeled, back in 96 or 97. So a lot of that is still there, so I don't know how many times we can reuse it, but we'll try. Yeah,
Can we get an invite to opening day once this is all set up?
absolutely.
So we can
Yeah.
go through
All
the.
invited to any day you want, any lunch at the high school. I'll meet you over there, you tell me when, and,
Are you buying?
Love to have you back there.
$2.90.
Yeah, well, I just increased it by 10 cents.
So he's no longer welcome there.
Yeah, no.
So you pay the 10 cents and we'll pay there.
So we need a motion here to accept the contract with Brandon, correct?
Not Brander.
It's Stewart.
I'm sorry.
To
I'll
work
make the
with.
motion to approve the contract with Stewart Design
I'll
as
second it.
presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keith, exciting time, open enrollment
Well,
applications.
it's a good thing, and before we get into the numbers, I just want to thank Jennifer, because she works so hard on this, and it every year gets more and more complicated, and she's really our resource district, in the district, to answer the questions, and every year we get more and creative questions from parents and from the district on how we can work things. So she's done all the work, she's all the brains behind this, and she deserves the credit.
Thank you. I know it's hard.
I think it's a big reason why we have so many students applying to come in. So this year we had 291 applications. We are recommending for approval 258 of those. I'm not gonna go through all the reasons for the 33 denials. You can see those on your report, but they are all legitimate by state rules and by what our capacities are. So that, unless there are questions, I'll leave it at that.
Basically, you figure how many, 60%?
What's that?
60%?
It depends. So I have a whole complicated formula. So if they have a brother or sister that's already attending, they get a higher percentage. If they attended here previously, they get a higher percentage. If they have no connection to the district, I have a lower percentage of the likelihood that they'll show up. So it's a very complicated formula that I have put in over years of monitoring it. But I will tell you, at 291 applications, in the budget projection I showed you several months ago, I said 133 new. When I put the 291 into my formula, it comes out to 138. So we're right in the right
So
ballpark.
we have to replace how many graduating?
33, I believe. I don't have that number off the top of my head. It's in that 30, but it's more than that. 39. No, I'm sorry, 39 net new out of that 133 projected. So we have to replace almost 90 seniors. So we're right in the right ballpark. We've got, they're good applications.
Good.
Now, is it per pupil cost gone up?
Well, this is one of the strange things from DBI. We don't even know what the per pupil amount is for this year technically. They don't tell us until the end of the year. So I am anticipating a 1.5% increase in the per pupil amount for next year, but we won't know that.
So we don't get the money for open enrollment kids until the end of the year?
We get the money in June. For this year's students, we'll get the money in June, at the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
So that's one of the reasons when we do our cash flow borrowing, our cash flow borrowing has increased, because the amount we're talking about here, for next year, we're planning about $8 million in open enrollment revenues, all at the end of the year when we're incurring the expenses of the year.
You don't get to the end of the year because you don't know their standard.
Yeah, so it prorates, so if somebody leaves
I was
after a
gonna say,
month,
what happens if
we
they
only get a
leave
month's worth of
partway?
somebody.
You only get whatever, how many days they were here out of 180.
Plus
All the way down to the day.
Down to the
Yes.
day, plus
Wow.
there's
I
the
have to-
exceptions where
yeah.
new ones could come in during the year as well,
Yeah.
and not go through this.
I have to list their start and end date for every single student.
And then remember, last year they added a higher rate for students with special needs, so we've gotta have that tracked as well.
Plus, this is basically an ongoing thing because the enrollment process doesn't stop until
Which open enrollment? Well, it goes all year. We could have somebody right now who could come in starting tomorrow and attend the district through the exception process.
Yeah,
If we-
starting July first, the alternative open enrollment starts, so that's for anybody who missed the last 3 months to apply.
They still can.
They could still apply, but with that, there's 7, they have to qualify for one of 7 reasons.
That's a far cry from the 1 month that was for
Yeah.
It used to be 2 weeks.
Well, we pick up, about 90 kids throughout the year for that.
Through the exception process. But then some of the students that we have who are open enrollment through the year may move into the district, or they may choose to go back to the, so there's ins and outs, and that's why I said it's a complicated process. And Jennifer stays on top of it, knows which family we've got, and has a communication with them, and tries to keep our connection, so that's one of the reasons we're able to be successful.
Jennifer, I bet you have students that go out, change their mind, come back in. Does that happen? Yeah?
They're the favorite.
Okay, we need a motion for this, to approve the 258, go to the denials, too.
I think just approve the 258, right, Jennifer?
You have to approve the denials also, yes.
Sorry.
So can we do that in the same motion, or?
Yeah, you can do the same motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 258 recommended for approval and 33 recommended for denial on open enrollment.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And we have to do the same thing now for the out, people who are applying to leave the district.
So on the outside, 54 applications. There aren't a lot of reasons we have any more than we can deny, so we're not saying any should be denied. 33 have never attended our school district. 18 are currently attending and are requesting to attend somewhere else.
Okay. Can we get a motion for this?
I'll give you a little more information. That's a little higher number than what I had planned, so one of the things I'm adjusting with the budget is even with my formula, we'll have a little more expense than what I had projected for outgoing based on these numbers.
So, can you just tell us a little bit, what is the online, like McFarland Online or Northern Ozaki? Are those?
Several districts have started years ago already, online charter schools, so it's an
Okay.
online academy, it's a public school, but you do it online, and so it's a different option for parents who wanna choose that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on open enrollment, moving students out with 54 applications.
We need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, policy update, second read. Keith?
So I don't have much to say other than we went through this once, changes are made based on the discussion. So we're looking for approval, and if you have other questions or changes, we can make that at this time.
Okay, can we get a motion for this one?
Just to pass the
Two.
all the following. Okay, I'll make a motion to pass the bylaws and policies updates.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, get a motion and a second. I just want to make sure we have all the time. Okay. Motion approved? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Makes your motion carries. Keith, we're passing on the budget approval, but we'll go on to each layoffs.
Okay, worst part of our job as administrators here where we have, because of enrollment, so this isn't, I don't wanna mislead you, and this isn't budget-based, this is enrollment-based when we look at student counts, course requests, all those things. It's not performance-based for these staff members. And for two of them, it's pure enrollment, and one of them, it's based on the uncertainty of a federal grant. If that grant comes back, that person will be recalled. But they all have reemployment rights. It's all based on where we are student counts. So we've got the 3 people that we had gave preliminary approval, or preliminary notice at the last meeting by state law. April 30th, you have to give preliminary notice, by May 15th, you have to give final notice. They can be recalled at any time.
What is your anticipation? Any ideas?
I don't anticipate it, where we would recall usually would be if another teacher resigned because they were leaving the area on a different job, then when the position opens, we look to reapply first. And like I said, the one, when that federal grant, if it comes
Mhm.
back, she'll definitely be reemployed into that position.
Okay.
All right, can we get an unfortunate motion to approve here?
I'll make a motion to approve the layoffs as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Board Superintendent Communications. I just wanted to mention that last night we had our Ashwaubenon Education Foundation grant process went through last night, and we approved, it was 9 or 10 different grant proposals for $10,600. Some really neat
Yeah.
project. We had 29 applications this year,
Wow.
and keep them coming. You guys keep those guys coming. Some really, really neat things. And we'll be commenting on them as we be going through them next year.
Well, a big thank you to the foundation and the donors of the foundation. That's awesome, and that much, that the board can
Yeah.
allocate out.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It's a pretty neat process. Anything else? Anybody else have anything?
No.
All right, future board meetings and topics. Next board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 14th at 6:30 in the district office. We need an adjournment to the executive session. Roll call.
Vandy Creek, aye.
All right.
Johnson, aye.
Biscuit Show, aye.
Van Layden, aye.